Westall Monument and Westall Crash Site. Driving along the lazy winding roads of the Colorado foothills, there's almost no trace left of the rail network that was built here to service various mountain communities. There were railroads to get to faraway or not-so-far places, as well as to service the mines. In 1874, the Denver, South Park and Pacific Railroad laid track through Platte Canyon to serve the mines in Como and Leadville. In 1898, the train was taken over by the Colorado and Southern, and even though mining had declined, freight continued on that line until 1936. But the train was available for excursions and people signed up for trips into the mountains. On August 28, 1898, a group of 450 people had boarded the train for an outing in the mountains. As the group climbed on for the trip back, the weather was not threatening, but en route the savvy engineer, Billy Westall, saw that farther along, the tracks had been covered by a rock and sand slide. He made an effort to slow the train to keep the occupants from injury, and he did manage to slow it enough that it stopped before a complete derailment. The engine tipped over, but all the passengers remained safe. Westall had alerted fireman Buddy Nichols to jump before the impact. Nichols did and survived. But Westall stayed with the derailing engine and was so severely injured that he died later that night in the Buffalo train depot. Because Westall acted in time to save his passengers, the rail workers decided to collect money for a monument a year later. He had been buried in Riverside Cemetery, but the original monument was erected at the site of the crash. Westall's last words are inscribed on the 34,000-pound monument, which is made of Platte Canyon granite. Over time, the monument began to tilt ominously, showing the ravages of periodic flooding, particularly after the 1996 Buffalo Creek fire allowed nature to more fully utilize the floodplain. A group of students from West Jefferson Middle School embarked on a project to restore the monument's foundation in 2012, completing the task in 2014, which also moved the monument closer to the road, out of the most utilized flood area. What's still in question is where the wreck actually occurred. There are markers at what is believed to be the right place, but there is still a question of whether that's correct. The original builders of the monument had wanted it to be at the actual location, so why would they have put it somewhere else? Historian Millie Roeder questions whether the photograph shown on the interpretive marker is even that of the correct crash. The best evidence seems to be the intent of the rail workers, who would best have been in the position to know the precise location. As the mines played out, the trains were used less, and during World War II, almost all train tracks were removed from the right-of-way to be used for military production in the war effort. Some narrow-gauge tracks remain, but they are largely tourist attractions rather than part of the industrial productivity of the country.